My wife cheated, so I made her parents watch the video. It wasn't rage that pushed me. It wasn't revenge. It was the quiet, soul-splitting need for truth. At 8:42 on a Thursday night, my world collapsed. Not in a fiery explosion, not in a screaming match, but in the quiet glow of my laptop screen. On the footage, I saw my wife Megan, my wife of 17 years, leaning into another man in our bedroom. They were laughing like giddy teenagers, like nothing in the world could touch them. His hand brushed her hair. She tilted her face toward him. Then they kissed. Not the polite peck of friends, but a hungry kiss, the kind that carried history and promises. I froze. My throat burned. My palms shook against the keyboard. My name is Jonathan Brooks, 46 years old. I'm a regional sales manager for a medical supply company. My job keeps me on the road, client dinners, out-of-town meetings, hotel rooms where the silence is broken only by the buzz of a television. My life was never glamorous, but it was steady, predictable, honest. I built a life around that word, honest. My wife, Megan, was 38, an event planner. She thrived in rooms full of people, a natural host, polished and magnetic. People loved her, admired her. And then there was our son, Lucas, 15, the brightest spot of my life. A basketball kid, living half his days on the court, the other half with his headphones on. He was sharp, funny, too mature sometimes for his age. My anchor when the road wore me down. Together, we looked like a picture of stability. A regional sales manager, an event planner, a teenage son chasing his dreams, a tidy suburban life. But pictures lie. I should have seen it coming. Looking back, the first crack appeared at a neighborhood fundraiser 2 months before the footage. The community center was buzzing balloons, banners, tables of raffle baskets. I was talking with a parent about an upcoming drive when I noticed Megan across the room. She was laughing too hard at some joke, smiling too brightly at a man I didn't recognize. He was tall, mid-30s maybe, built like someone who lived in the gym, the kind of body that made high school boys take notes. His hair was cropped close, his smile practiced. He leaned down as Megan scribbled something on a slip of paper. Then she slid it into his hand like it was nothing. Later, in the car, I asked, "Megan, who was that guy you were talking to?" She laughed, tossing her hair. "Don't be dramatic, John. He's just a local gym owner, Eric. I needed his contact for networking. You know how these events are." I stared at her. It didn't look like networking. "Please." She gave me that smile she used when she wanted to shut a conversation down. It was innocent flirting, that's all. Honestly, you worry too much. But something about the way she said innocent made me feel like I'd just been handed a riddle I didn't want to solve. Suspicion doesn't roar. It whispers. It whispered when Megan started working late, more often than her deadlines required. It whispered when she wore new perfume to the grocery store. It whispered when her phone lit up at midnight and she tilted the screen away. At first, I tried to ignore it. I buried myself in work, in Lucas's basketball games, in the endless miles of travel. But suspicion doesn't fade when you starve it. It grows louder. Finally, I confided in my best friend, Tom Bennett. Tom and I had known each other since college. He was 43 now, working in IT support. If you wanted to know how long someone had been online or what kind of digital trail they left, Tom was your guy. We sat on his porch one night, beers in hand, as I told him about the fundraiser, the late nights, the perfume. He listened, quietly. Then he said the words that stuck. "John, if she's making you feel like you're crazy, stop guessing. Get the facts. Facts don't lie." I felt sick, even considering it, but Tom was right. So I bought 2 small cameras. Legal, nothing extreme, just motion-activated devices you could find at any electronic store. One I set up behind a plant in the living room. Another tucked on a shelf in the hallway that led to our bedroom. Security, I told myself. We've had porch thefts. We need to be safe. But I knew what I was really doing. I was protecting myself from a different kind of theft. The theft of truth. For a week, nothing happened. Megan went about her days. Phone calls, dinner, the occasional late event. Lucas slammed doors, ran off to practices, left sneakers all over the entryway. I juggled hotel calls and long drives, trying to keep my head down. Life looked normal. But I kept checking the footage. Every night, I'd sit in a motel or my parked car, fast-forwarding through grainy hours of silence. And then Thursday came. Lucas had gone to a friend's for a group project. Megan thought I was still on the road. I sat in a motel parking lot, laptop open, half grading reports, half watching the feed. At 8:42, the front door opened. Eric strolled in, holding a bottle of wine like he owned the place. Megan met him in the hallway. She laughed as she reached for him. They kissed slow, deliberate, the kind of kiss you don't explain away. My stomach twisted. I wanted to scream, to smash the laptop against the wall, to drive straight home and throw them both into the street. Instead, I watched. My eyes burned, my hands shook, but I watched as they disappeared into the bedroom. It wasn't innocent. It wasn't networking. It wasn't dramatic. It was betrayal, captured in high definition, time-stamped, undeniable. That night, I didn't confront Megan. Being on the road teaches you something about timing. You learn to pick your moments. You don't blow your cover when a deal could collapse or a client is watching. You wait until you can act with purpose. So I sat in my motel, staring at the paused frame of Eric's hand in my wife's hair, and I made a choice. I would not explode. I would expose. The difference is everything. The next morning, I stared at myself in the motel mirror. My reflection looked like a man hollowed out overnight. I splashed water on my face, and instead of rage, something colder settled in me. Resolve. Explosions make noise. Evidence makes impact. And if Megan thought she could dismiss this as innocent, then I would make sure her excuses burned in the light of truth. I called Tom. It's real. I caught her. Him too. On camera. You want me to come over? He asked. Not yet, I said. I need you to back it up. If she tries to spin the story, I want proof outside my hands. You got it. Then I dialed Megan's parents. I didn't go into detail and just said we needed a serious family talk at the house tomorrow evening. They agreed, voices tinged with confusion but also trust. They'd always thought I was the steady one. Finally, I texted Megan. Late meetings tomorrow. Don't wait up, she replied with a smiley face. The following evening, I came home earlier than she expected. Megan's parents were already seated stiffly on our living room sofa. Megan fluttered around them nervously. What's this about? Is Lucas okay? John, why are my parents here? They'll understand soon enough, I said. At 8:03 p.m., headlights swept across the window. Eric strode out the driveway with that smug walk, wine bottle dangling from his hand. When Megan opened the door, she froze. She hadn't expected her parents. She certainly hadn't expected me. Eric's smirk slipped. Am I interrupting? Not at all, I said. Come in. You'll want to hear this. I clicked play on my laptop. Footage from the night before filled the television. Megan and Eric in my hallway, kissing, then disappearing into the bedroom. Her mother gasped. Her father muttered, Dear God. Megan's face crumbled. John, it's not... Stop. I cut her off. Don't insult us further. Eric shifted, puffing his chest. Look, man, this is between you and her. No, I snapped. You walked into my house, into my bed. This is between all of us now. Megan's excuses poured out words like lonely, routine, needing excitement. She tried to reach for her mother's hand, but her parents recoiled. Her father's voice shook. You were raised to honor your vows, and this is what you chose? Her mother whispered. Jonathan, I am so sorry. That's when the front door opened. Lucas stepped in, basketball duffel slung over his shoulder. He stopped cold when he saw the laptop, his grandparents, Eric frozen in the corner. What's going on? He asked. Megan moved toward him. Sweetheart, but I couldn't protect him from this anymore. Lucas, I said gently, your mother's been seeing someone else, behind our backs. Silence. Then his face cracked like glass. Mom, how could you? She reached for him, but he jerked away. Don't touch me, he shouted, before storming upstairs. Minutes later, he came down with a packed bag. I'm going to Grandma and Grandpa's, he said, tears in his eyes. Then to me, Dad, come with me. I hugged him hard. I'll be okay. Go. You don't need to see any more of this. And just like that, my 15-year-old son walked out of the house, betrayed by the one person who should have been his example. The house turned into a hollow shell. Megan sat on the couch, head in her hands. Eric slipped out the door without a word. Her parents looked at her like strangers. By morning, whispers had already begun. My neighbor texted, Jonathan, was that Eric Adams at your house last night? People are talking. I didn't reply. I didn't have to. The town would do the work for me. Eric's SUV had been parked in my driveway too many nights. People noticed. Now, with one well-timed seed, the gossip spread like wildfire. By noon, Tom told me, "John, half the PTA already knows. By Friday, the whole block will know Megan was running around with the gym guy. You don't even have to push it." I didn't. Reputation collapses faster than glass once it cracks. Megan's event planning clients canceled. But humiliation wasn't enough. I needed protection. For Lucas, for myself. That Monday, I walked into Rachel Price's office, a family law attorney known for precision. She listened without flinching as I slid the footage across her desk. She watched in silence, then said, "You did this clean. No illegal surveillance, no threats, just clear, time-stamped evidence. Jonathan, you'll get the house. You'll get custody. She can fight, but she won't win." Her advice was simple. Document everything. Don't get drawn into emotional outbursts. Let the facts speak. Drama was Megan's specialty. Evidence was mine. Within 2 weeks, Rachel filed a petition. Divorce on grounds of adultery. Custody of Lucas. Request to retain the marital home. Megan's lawyer tried to argue privacy violation. Rachel dismantled that in seconds. The judge allowed it. Every kiss, every timestamp, every frame became part of the record. In court, Megan tried. She showed up polished, rehearsed, but when the footage played, her excuses shriveled. The judge's ruling was swift. Custody to me, the house to me, visitation for her. Outside of court, the fallout deepened. Megan's career ended. Eric's gym shut down. He left town. She tried to rebuild, but scandal follows loud footsteps. Lucas stayed with his grandparents for weeks. Then, one Sunday, he knocked on the door with his duffel bag. "Dad, can I come home?" "Son," I said, hugging him, "you never stopped belonging here." That night we ate pizza and watched basketball highlights. Megan called once. I let it go to voicemail. Lucas looked at me. "Do we have to talk to her?" "Yes," I said. "She's still your mom, but only when you're ready." He nodded. Not tonight. Months passed. The cameras stayed for security, but also as a reminder. Megan tried to rebuild. Eric disappeared. Lucas thrived. Do I feel victorious? No. Victory implies a prize. There's no prize in betrayal, only scars. But I feel steady again, stronger. Because I walked through the fire without screaming, without lowering myself to their level. Megan once told me not to be dramatic. She said it was just innocent flirting. Now, when I think of those words, I laugh. Because innocence doesn't sneak through hallways. Innocence doesn't hide behind excuses. Innocence doesn't destroy families. She lost everything chasing excitement. I kept everything that mattered by holding on to truth. When someone dismisses your instincts, pay attention. When they call their betrayal innocent, know it's anything but. And when trust breaks, don't shout, expose. Don't humiliate yourself, let the truth humiliate them. Because the truth, once revealed, doesn't need drama. It burns on its own. And I'll never forget the night my wife's lies collapsed under the weight of daylight. Timestamped at 8:42 p.m. That was the night I stopped being a husband to a cheater and became a father my son could trust again.